An auditing question over evidence inside of Ninja MCQ, which has 1,597 auditing multiple choice questions, so about 1,684 simulations. Okay. Which of the following statements concerning audit evidence is correct? So, audit evidence. Appropriate evidence supporting management's assertions should be convincing rather than merely persuasive. Or effective internal control contributes little to the reliability of the evidence created within the entity. Or the cost of obtaining evidence is not an important consideration to an auditor in deciding what evidence should be obtained. Or finally, a client's accounting data cannot be considered sufficient appropriate audit evidence to support the financial statements. And that is the answer. The AUC 500.A7, which on the exam you never need to remember authoritative literature citations, but it states that accounting data such as books of original entry, general and subledgers, and related accounting manuals, they constitute evidence in support of the financial statements, but they're not sufficient audit evidence for the financial statements. And the other three options were all like meh. Anyway, so like B, effective internal control contributes little to the reliability of the evidence. Well, that's not true, because the higher the level of internal control, the less substantive procedures the auditor needs to do, the higher their level of comfort. So the fewer substantive procedures that they need to do. And then some definitions. So it all comes down to what is sufficient, appropriate audit evidence. So what is appropriate? Appropriateness is the measure of the quality of audit evidence, that is, its relevance and its reliability in providing support for the conclusions on which the auditor's opinion is based. What is sufficient? Sufficient relates to the amount and kind of evidence required by an auditor to form an opinion. And then the book reference. The reliability of audit evidence is influenced by its source and by its nature and is dependent on the individual circumstances. So audit evidence is more reliable when it is obtained from knowledgeable independent sources outside the entity. So sources outside the entity, the evidence is more reliable than internally produced evidence. Audit evidence that is generated internally is more reliable when the controls are effective. So that's why B was wrong. Evidence obtained directly by the auditor, for example, observation of the application of a control, is more reliable than evidence obtained indirectly or by inference. And audit evidence is more reliable when it exists in documentary form, so paper, electronic, or other medium, versus oral evidence. And finally, audit evidence provided by original documents is more reliable than when it's a photocopy or a fax.